Hi, I'm Alex Acuna. Today I am on Musicians on the Record. Hit it!
This is huge, musicians on the record. Bring it on.
Welcome to Musicians on the Record. I'm your host, David Ward. You've heard the music, now hear their story. This is part music interview and part history lesson. I am so blessed on the show today to have the great legendary drummer Alex Acuna. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for calling.
Absolutely. It's great to have you here. And Alex, you've worked with almost everybody, legends like Elvis, Diana Ross, Paul McCartney, U2. The list is endless. And of course, the legendary classic Weather Report. I want to get to all of that today. But I'd love to start at the beginning for you, because I know you have a rich history of playing music and drums for a long time. When did your music story start for you?
Well, actually, when I was about 3 years old, that's what my mother told me I start playing. But professionally, when I was 10, that's when I started making money, working with my father and my brother's band in South America, Peru, where I was born, in the north of Lima. And I was there. I had my father and 5 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 11 children, number 10.
Wow.
6 boys, 5 girls. And when they start playing, actually my mother didn't want me to be a musician because my father was teaching all my 5 older brothers already. So she said, Alex, maybe Fernando, that was his name, my dad's name.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one can be a carpenter or a mechanic or something, have a profession. Yeah. And so my father respected, so he didn't taught me anything.
Oh.
Not at all. And my father was an incredible musician. He played almost every instrument there is.
Wow.
Very well. Strings instrument, woodwinds, horns, drums, percussion, everything. Amazing musician. Anyhow, so he respect my mother's wishes, and so he never told me or showed me nothing. But I was there when my brothers were taking lessons from him. And that's how I learned.
Okay.
I was listening, solfeggio. I was watching, all the instruments. So I got to play trumpet a little bit for about 6 years also. And on my own, because I saw the lessons and I like the trumpet. And also I like the trumpet and the piano a little bit. And anyhow, then by 16 years old, I moved to the city capital of Lima. From the north of Lima, I moved to Lima, the city, and I became a studio musician. And then I was playing in those days, recording every day, playing on 2 TV channels, stations, 1 p.m. playing one, and 9 p.m. playing another one. And I was working, playing shows, concerts, everything. And the reason I was playing so much is because in those days, only about 3 or 4 drummers in Peru were able to read music.
Okay.
And the reason I was able to read music because I played trumpet, and I played a little piano. And I saw my father teaching solfeggio to my brothers, and rhythms and everything, and harmony and everything. So I was prepared. My brothers went to Lima before me, and they became very famous because my father was a great teacher. They were very well trained, classical, jazz, Latin, whatever, ethnic. They play everything, no problem. Music. They never had any problem with music. And they called me and said, Alex, there is no drummers in Lima like you. So come over, man. We recommend you. You know, you will do great over here. I was taking care of my mom because they all got married very young. They left with their wives and their children and everything. So by 12 years old, when I was 12, I was like the head of my family.
Ah,
You know,
wow.
and taking care of the DWP and everything. You know, telephone bills and everything.
Sure.
When I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So by 16, I went to Lima and I became, praise God, I became this kind of a musician that I'm still today because I did then the same thing I'm doing now. I play everything from shakers all the way to the top instruments on percussion. And I like every kind of music, ethnic, jazz, classical, fusion, whatever you name it. And because I like to have choices to be able to play. I'll get bored if I'm going to play one night jazz all night, or if I'm going to play Latin all night. That's why I play with Weather Report.
Yeah.
Because we were able to play everything in one night, all the different genres of music, you know, the fusion stuff.
Yes.
Anyhow, but yeah, that's how when I started in 1962, I came to Lima, and in 1964, a very famous musician from Cuba, but he was living here in California and in New York and in Mexico. His name is Perez Prado. He's called the king of the mambo. He invented the mambo.
Wow.
That guy. And he was very famous. He went to do a concert in South America, beginning in Peru, and he was looking for a drummer to take in the South American tour. And they recommended me. And when he saw me play after the first tune, in the rehearsal time, he called me on the side. He said to me, I would like to take you to United States to play in my band. I laughed. I said, why? In United States, they invented the drums. By that time, see, this is one thing when I express that I like all kinds of music in those days because I already was making money. I was only 18 years old, and I had a lot of money because I was working all day. I was working like 18 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had a chauffeur. I had my own car and everything because my mother didn't want me to drive. So I was able to order records from USA because we didn't have all kinds of records in Peru in those days. This is 1960, 62, you know, so I ordered records, big band records, all kinds. I always like sextet, quartet, big band, you know, Dixie Gillespie in those days, Mina Ferguson in those days. I went to see every movie that they have, the history of jazz, whatever I got a hold of, you know, Tiro Puente, listening to everybody, you know, all kinds of, you know, classical records, classical music and everything on my own, you know, a lot of lists on Chopin because I love the piano. And so that's how I really grew up musically, you know, working, listening, practicing, loving it, sharing it, and that's...
Yeah, amazing. So it sounds like you grew up really early, you know, with your musical family, everybody playing music, and you learned on your own. Was there ever any formal teaching? Was there ever a teacher or teachers that mattered or were really important to you? Because I'm hearing the process, you were very self-taught.
Which is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
It is an amazing thing. I mean, that can be, if we have to really put a percentage of that can be 50% of gain in a musician.
Yeah.
It's great to be a self-taught because you can transcribe, you can listen, you can discern, you can pin the things that you like, the things that you don't know, the things that you don't like. You can even, in those days, you know, I learned rudiments later after I already was a professional musician. When I came to San Juan, Puerto Rico, yes, I went to the conservatory over there and I studied for 3 years. little classical music, little mallets and timpani. Although I don't play them
Mhm.
because I don't have the instruments, I don't have the time to practice. It's too much.
Yeah.
But anyhow, but I learned rudiments there, and I say, oh wow, But when I was in Peru, I was transcribing, listening, and even if I didn't get it the way they were interpreted, what I got served me. Uh, even my interpretation was able to develop my own taste and my own voice, and that's the good thing about being a self-taught. I think I'm not recommending to be a self-taught to anybody. What I'm just trying to say is it's good to listen to a lot of music and figure it out. Count. It's in five, it's in seven, it's in nine. Don't wait for anybody to tell you what the time signature it is, what rhythm they're playing. Where is that rhythm from? Especially now that we have YouTube. I mean, come on. You really you can see the best players of the whole world right now on any instrument and learn from them. I'm still a student. I still consider myself a self-taught because I want to be a life student. I don't think I got it all together. I don't think even Stravinsky got it all together. You know, music is too deep. It's too far.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me, of course. When I say music, which is only one word, for me encompasses Latin, jazz, classical, ethnic. You know, there are not too many musicians that can really do everything.
Right.
There are not too many. So, I have another little story later. I can tell you right now. I can tell you one of the guys that I was very impressed. A couple of years ago, I did a concert at the Hollywood Bowl with Gustavo Dudamel. Do you know who that is?
I don't. No.
Well, he's from Venezuela, Caracas, Venezuela. He's 32, 33 years old. He's a conductor for the Los Angeles Philharmonic. The Los Angeles,
Yeah.
Philharmonic Orchestra.
Yes. Amazing.
And he is the only classical trained musician that I have seen, conductor, director, that I have seen in my life. That when we were rehearsing, he took 15 minutes of break. He said, please stop. We will take 15 minutes. And he said, Alex, and get the other percussionists around, because we were playing Venezuelan rhythms. He came, we had the Venezuelan instruments, the gaita drums, the culepuya drums. These are instruments that nobody knows, And he came and he played them. I said, whoa, this is the first time in my life that I seen a classical conductor to come and show me how to play ethnic percussion perfectly.
Right.
I never seen that before in my life.
Wow.
So I admire that. I learned that there's so much. I said, whoa, you know what I mean? Fantastic.
Absolutely.
No wonder he's conducting the Los Angeles Philharmonic,
Right.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's what, just to summarize what I'm saying, and I hope I answering all the questions, is definitely I'm an eternal student of the art of music. I still practice my piano. I practice on marimba. I practice every morning. I get up 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, warm up, and practice a lot. I love to practice four-ways coordination on the drums.
Yes.
And I also do martial arts. So in the morning I do Tai Chi, and I do Kali, and I do Silat, and I do Wing Chun. So I do these arts. I'm 72 years old, but I still move like a 30-year-old man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so all this encompass everything, because music and martial arts and a great wife and a great family and a great life and God on top of that is definitely the key to continue current. So when we get to talk about what I've been doing, I can tell you what is current, to be current in this art and in this business.
Absolutely. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Can you give us an example of something that you're working on, Alex, as far as the four-way coordination and what you're practicing, what you're working on with drumming right now?
Yes, I can tell you vocally right now, and then I can explain later. Uh, you know, when I told you, remember that mentioned that I learned in Puerto Rico the rudiments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first book that I got in Puerto Rico, and it was a present from a dear friend of mine, Rudy Regalado. He gave me the stick control.
Yes.
Well, I never passed page 5 and 6 and 7.
Mm.
For 50 years, I've been practicing. Well, I have those are the only 3 pages I practice.
Wow.
It's so much there.
Yeah.
Almost everything is there. Almost everything. Definitely, we don't have the close roll why they have it, and but we have every roll there, and maybe we don't have the flams there, but anyhow, but I practice the stick control, single, double, paradiddles, and then combinations, double with paradiddles and blah blah blah, with different claves, and the left foot. My clave, so it's a double ta 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 ta. That's a simple ta 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 ta, and then the bass drum ta 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 ta, kum kum pa pa kum pa ta kum pa, like that. So that's, and then I practice, for example, all the rudiments like that. Because I know that most of us, when we taught in the conservatories or on the drums schools or in the college, we just taught hands, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Just you play the paradiddle with the hands, and we never use the left foot. I noticed that a lot of drummers don't use the left foot. They only step on the hi-hat and that's it. They leave it there.
Mm.
But it's like dead. The left foot is only for walking, not for playing.
Right.
No. This is another voice. We should use it.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, I don't want to sound like me, because I don't like that. But I think I was one of the first guys that started playing the clave left foot on Latin drumming.
Wow.
In 1958, 68. Excuse me. 78, 88.
Wow.
1988. I did a video in 1989, and I'm using that.
Yeah.
My first video. That's before they start making the bracket for the cowbell. I was playing the clave on the hi-hat.
Mm.
The like that.
Yeah.
While playing Cuban drumming on my right hands and bass drum. So those are the things, if we don't continue, it will leave you. It's like a trumpet player playing scales every day, piano player playing arpeggios and scale every day. We need to continue to play those things, So that's just, and it give you a beautiful thing as, for example, synchronization of your time, your hands, the coordination. I don't like to call it independence. Yes, you practice them independently, but when you're playing, it has to be coordinated. So it's coordination. I call it coordination.
Got it.
Not dependence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't call it independence drums. You practice like that, but when you play it, it's not independence. It's coordination. That's how I call it.
Well, that's inspiring to hear how you still practice and all of what you do. It's also reassuring that you've only done pages like 5 or 6 of stick control, because that's about where I'm at with it too. So
that's fantastic. That's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Can we go back a second, back to Peru for a moment? And
Sure.
Before you left home and before you went to Lima, What was your dream of? Was it just that, this drumming or music is probably better than being a carpenter, or did you have a dream to do something one day? Was it to be in Peru to be a drummer professionally? Was it to come to America, or were you just in the moment?
Well, it's a little combination of things like that. I actually find out that my mother, when I was grown up, that my mother didn't want me to become a musician. She wanted me to be a child, because I think parents know their kids, and she knew where I was, and she wanted something different. But my father teaching, also, he was a perfectionist and disciplinarian. And I'm not like that. My mother knew that. My mother noticed that the minute Fernando is going to tell Alex to do this, to do that, the way he does to the other boys, Alex is going to react differently because he has a different temperament.
I see. Yeah, got it.
So maybe she was protecting me.
Sure.
But then, when I was 7 years old, I really knew what I want to be. Oh yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. I was also a soccer player. That's why I still do martial arts. Physical. I like the physical movement, running, kicking, and all that, jumping, kicking the ball.
Yeah.
I was very good, and so I played soccer in a team. I was 7 years old, and one day after practice, I invite everybody on the team. We were 22 players to my house because my father made instruments as well. He made congas, timbales, bongos.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make it. He got the guys, the carpenter. He got the guy that works on the, on the whatever, pedals to make all of that, to make the drums.
Yes.
And he did definitely prepare the cattle. How do you call it? The scarf heads to put on the.
Wow.
Yeah. My father did that. And so I invite everybody to play. My house. Maybe more than 22 kids, including me. They came to my house, and when they saw the instrument, they say, "No, we don't play. None of us know how to play." Reason I thought that everybody play instrument because they play so good soccer, because my brothers also play soccer and they play music. I grew up seeing my brothers playing soccer and playing music. I thought was natural.
Yeah.
So I said, what?
Yeah.
And that's when I look up to the sky and I told him, I said, God, have you give me something different than these 22 guys? Oh, wow. So my vision right there was established, and my relationship with him was established. I'm not a religious person. I have a relationship with God since I was 7 years old. That's why I can say very clearly that when I was 7 years old, I knew what I wanted to be. It's exactly what I'm right now. We come from a very poor family. And, with 11 kids, I don't care how much money you have. You're going to be poor.
Right.
So we were poor. I know what it's not to have food one day, when I was a little child. But anyhow, all to say that I had visions, I had dreams, I had desires, and they all came true.
That's amazing.
Everything.
Yeah.
I just went with it. It's like I'm going to get in this boat and it's going to be sailing along.
Yeah. But
sailing alone, it was sailing directed by a big force that only I can see, only I can feel, only I can testify about it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's called God. To me.
Yeah.
So since I was a little kid, that's who I was. So that's every dream came true. I even dreamed to play with Weather Report, and I wished to play with Weather Report after I heard the first album where Alphonse Mosson was playing. Alphonse died these days.
Yes.
is there anyhow. So those wishes, those dreams, those desires, they're stored in the heart. And if you have it, and if you really feel it, you know it's there. And I always sense that if he is there, it's for a reason. Somebody must implant it in my heart, in my mind, in my desires.
Yeah.
So they're going to come true.
Yeah.
But you have to have discipline. You have to have perseverance. You have to have love. You have to have time, appreciation for what you want to do. It doesn't just come by you sitting down and thinking about it.
Yeah.
You have to have some time for it. You have to put some time on it.
That's right. You got to do your footwork, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it certainly sounds like you did. So can we talk then about Weather Report and how did it come to be? You said you had that dream of wanting to play with them. How did that process happen? And just wanting to hear about some of those experiences that you had with Weather Report.
Yeah, just before that, when I came in 1964 to play in United States, I came with a green card, with a permanent residency in those days from my country.
Okay.
So never became here as an illegal alien, you know. And I toured for 10 months on and off with Perez Prado and his band all over United States.
Wow.
You know, all over Texas, Colorado. We went to Chicago all the way, come Philadelphia, New York, Washington, all of those places, you know.
Wow.
And but we started in Las Vegas in April 1964, and I got here to Los Angeles. I came with no drums, so I purchased, my first drum was a Gretsch drum set, like Elvin, the champagne kind of, you know. I think in those days it was a 20, because they didn't make 18 yet. 20 bass drum.
Yeah.
And 14, one cymbal and hi-hat, and you know, and everything, all the hardware. I paid $300 at the professional drum shop in Hollywood, California, and that shop is still there in front, across the street from the Musician Union.
Wow.
On Vine. Anyhow, Bob Yeager sold it to me for $300. Beautiful drum set. So I started listening to music, and all of a sudden, when we went in New York, because I was a minor, they didn't let me to go to see. Jim Grupa was playing at the Metropole right there on 7th Avenue. And because I was a minor, they didn't let me in because it was a bar.
Yeah.
You know, I was 18 to 19 years old. And but I was there listening. And then the next day, Woody Herman was there. I said, "Ooh, wow!" And then I went to the village or a place like that in New York, and they didn't let me in. Miles Davis was playing there, Miles was playing, and Tony Williams, and they didn't let me in. But I went in the alley and started listening. When I heard that music, it was like a music from Mars for me. You know, I came from Peru, so
right.
Oh my Lord, this, but very intricate. It got very powerful in my skin. I said, I want to learn that. I love that. That's a new sound. That's a new way of playing jazz. And it was Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, Ron Carter, and Miles Davis.
Wow, it's quite a band, huh?
Yeah, because Wayne Shorter already was playing and writing. And I love the music, you know, all the positions and the way they play. I said, oh, this is fresh. And anyhow, just to get to Weather Report, I wanted to let you know my love for jazz, you know. Definitely later I started listening to John Coltrane and Elvin Jones. Actually, it was Elvin Jones, the one that really made me to understand jazz. Why? Because when he played,